cultural strategist Terry Opong joins us on the news for more on the Nelson Mandela Day. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, looking at today's celebration, it's quite significant, but we're celebrating during a pandemic.
Yes, we are. We are.
And so what is the significance of the day, looking at the fact that we are not celebrating with the whole, with everything, as in like last year, where we had to celebrate with all pomp and pageantry, but today just low-key. What's the significance of this day?
It's interesting since I'm actually in Ghana, and so speaking to pomp and pageantry, the year of return last year in Ghana was pretty much a very successful event. And the late Congressman John Lewis, who passed away, rest in peace, and a friend of Nelson was here as well. So connecting that to what's happening a year later, and essentially where we find ourselves, you see that what's happening is we've been given a time to really, I think, pause and reflect. I think for many people, this time last year, we were just so busy and engulfed with all the potential. And I personally, for me, what's happening is I'm using today to really reflect on just all the things that are happening. And, you know, as we speak, you hear an airplane, right? Which is interesting because the borders are closed here in Ghana, right? So there's still cargo. And it's just a time where, as I speak to other Africans and friends around the world and back in the United States, we all are asking specific questions. And it's really interesting to see how it's all connecting. And for me, as I reflect, it also is about how do we essentially do three things, right? So how do we rewind? How do we, reconnect? And then how do we redefine based off of that process? And so today is for all of us to be able to really reflect more so and understand just either way, the situation we find ourselves in is here, right? And I'm sure in South Africa, his home country, we see resiliency taking place as well, right? The spirit of Mandela in fighting this virus. So those are my thoughts, and I believe, it's also giving humanity a chance to really look at ourselves. It's a true moment of clarity, right? So, if you have 20/20 vision, right, when you see your doctor, your eye doctor, it means you have clarity, right? You can see things clearly.
Yeah.
And so this is 2020, right? And the truth is not always pretty, and as we're seeing all these systems being exposed, right? And so everything is laid bare for us to figure out as humanity, right? Human race, what are we going to do, right? Can we move forward into the next 10, 20 years and see what's going to happen? So that's just my thoughts on that.
All right, looking at the fact, you mentioned something about doing the right thing. The UN has called for the release of prisoners of conscience. What's your take on that?
Yeah, my thought on that is, again, being here in Ghana, we've experienced where they've had detainees from Guantanamo Bay brought to live in Ghana as part of a deal with the United States. And so me being in country and experiencing, all the different thoughts and conversations around what happens when these hardened criminals are released, there's no evidence to show that it's had any real adverse effects. And so if, to your point, a lot of these cases, from my perspective, I'm not sure the specifics of this case. However, we've seen that in a lot of different countries and in systems that have existed, UN or whatever. You need to ask questions. And so if that process is had and if ultimately justice is served, I believe it's the right thing to do. All right. And ultimately, we should be asking hard questions about even prison and what is it doing, right? In the United States, what is prison really doing? Is it benefiting society, right?
All right. Cultural strategist Terry Opong, thank you very much for talking to us on this.